On February 11th, you'll see the Chiefs and 49ers battle it out in the Super Bowl right here on Channel 6. Jim Nance and the former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, Tony Romo, will be on the call. Well, there's a documentary available for streaming now about Romo's rise to superstar status called Now or Never, a Tony Romo Story. And director Chris Hanna is joining me now to talk about it. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're thrilled. Hey, in the documentary, you show Tony's rise to the quarterback for the Cowboys, but did you see the announcer piece of it coming? Because he's really become the premier analyst in NFL. Did you see that coming?
Yeah, I mean, at the time when we first started, making the film with him already, he was already retired and he had already announced that he was going to be with CBS. And so throughout the documentary, there's actually moments where he talks about it and, through inspirational quotes and how he, figured out how to make it happen with the NFL. And he was going to do the same thing with CBS. So you definitely saw those moments in the documentary. And because in our documentary, he's not in the NFL, he's not talking on behalf of that, you see a very genuine, raw Tony Romo, right? One that's just seeking to inspire people out there.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I've watched it. Good work, Chris. What's the story of the documentary? Yeah. How did you get so much access to Tony, his dad, various important people in his life?
Yeah, well, it started with a leap of faith, being in film school, being on the last semester, having that fear that you have to make something in order for you to feel like your career is going to be something good, right? Something that you can build on. And so me being a Dallas Cowboys fan and growing up in El Paso, Texas, being born in El Paso, Texas, like 90% of El Paso is Dallas Cowboys fans. So you can imagine how sad the city is right now. Yeah. But that being said, being in Santa Fe at the film school and, emailing and researching different people that were connected to Tony Romo before Tony Romo even became the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. And so that was very important for me, is to make a grassroots leap of faith film, right? And so we made our research. We actually started with an author from Dallas, Michael J. Mooney, who wrote an article called The Last Best Hope of Tony Romo in the Texas Monthly. We interviewed him as an expert. He would go on not to make the film since it became even more personal to Tony's life, but he was kind of that jump start for our film to feel like we had something special. And so then we were able to get former coaches from high school, from middle school, former players that played with them in both high school and Eastern Illinois, his university. And then from there, they loved what we were doing. It started as a thesis film project, a little short that I wanted to make first to graduate film school. And from there, we were able to meet Tony Romo at the Tony Romo Annual Football Camp. And this was back in 2018 when we started filming the movie. And so he liked what we were doing. He liked the story structure. He liked that I was basically just a kid from a small town, just like him, who wanted to take a leap of faith and tell the story of my personal hero, right, which was Tony Romo. And so he really liked that. We started with a 50-minute interview, and it grew into an hour interview the first time we met him back in 2018. And so he loved what we were doing. He asked for a teaser. We edited that out immediately, and he allowed us then to make the project even bigger through acquiring his father, his former agent, his grandparents, and more of Tony, right? So we went to another year to film some more at another football camp. And wow. So then in 2019, the film was completed. He had control over the film, which was my mission in life right now, is to make more documentaries about athletes and give the athlete the control on how their story is being told, because I feel like they don't have control over that once they play in those leagues. And so for me, it's important for these athletes to be able to have that control over how their story is being told and the accuracy of their story being told. And so once we got through all that, we premiered in 2019 in Burlington with his family and his friends and everybody in Burlington, Wisconsin. We went on to do a film festival run, and now we're on digital.
Yeah, it's amazing. How does it, seeing yourself on Amazon Prime Video, that's going to be pretty special. Hey, we have a little bit of time, about 20 seconds left. What is your favorite part about the documentary that you really hope people connect with?
My favorite part is the fact that he's Mexican American, and for people out there all over the United States, people that are Mexican American. You know, Tony Romo just like us, and he went through all those, you know, good and bad to make his story happen. And so I feel, you know, like I saw myself in him, I hope other people see himself in him as well.
Yeah, and we saw a little clip of his grandparents. Just a great interview. Great job, Chris. The documentary is called Now or Never, a Tony Romo story. It is available where you stream movies. I found it on Prime. And of course, you can watch Tony and Jim call the Super Bowl right here on News on 6. Director Hanna, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.